Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Real Estate Lab podcast. I am JJ
Hello.
Tolentino, realtor with the Next Level Property Group. We are here with a couple other realtors and Mr. Jack Lieberman, our guest here. Liberty, would you like to introduce yourself?
Hello, everyone. Liberty Walker here with Realty Austin, your Austin area realtor expertise.
Hey everybody, I go by Ian of Austin everywhere on the internet. Never forget it, never regret it. Make sure you check us out on Spotify, Amazon, Google Play Podcasts, all those other things. Jack?
Jack, you're muted. Well, today's topic is going to be, can investors still win in Austin, Texas? And we're happy to have Mr. Jack Lieberman here because he has three businesses, one involving lending, and he's cutting in and out right now, so he may expand on this.
He will. We'll give him the intro of a lifetime.
Jack, you hitting that mute button?
That's what happened to me.
There we go.
All right.
Welcome, Jack. Thank you so much for being here. You know, I'm so excited to just be able to talk with someone who's so seasoned and who has so much experience with Texas, really, not just Austin.
Tell us a little bit about yourself. I was doing a little bit of an intro, but I think you could do a better one.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm a Californian, so don't shoot me. I came here about 26 years ago. And when I arrived, I sold my mortgage company in California and went into land development on the lake in Lakeway, right on the 2,000 acres over there was my first real estate piece I cut my teeth on. But a discovery happened, and in '96, the law changed, and we can pull cash out of Texas homesteads. And so we quickly opened up a new mortgage division, which is USA Mortgage. And we were back in business doing regular, traditional, conventional loans. I still have that company today, although the retail division went over to Security National. USAM, I call it, USA Mortgage, is the gap financer or hard money lender for quick purchases of investment properties. Okay. And then the third business is Pandora Solutions. We do, flip that home. But what we do is we not only do we buy homes, fix them up and sell them, but we also buy homes, fix them up, get all our money back, keep them in our portfolio, and it becomes a long-term investment.
Right.
So that's the quick three.
All right. So let's go straight into the question. Can investors still win in Austin, Texas? What do you think?
Austin's on fire. I mean, the surrounding MSA is, I believe, still a hot spot. The central Austin, obviously, it's a little harder to find potential investments. And it all depends if you're going to fix it up and flip it, or if you want to fix it up or put it in your rental portfolio, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's still opportunities inside Central. You just have to, you got to search for them a little harder now.
And so when you say that, let's dig into that a little bit more, because a big resource for me and other realtors are the multiple listing service, so the MLS. And we're just like scouring through looking for opportunities. What other places should we be looking for our clients who are investors?
Well, you too can go to the wholesale companies. There's two big national companies, and there's dozens and dozens of small wholesalers. So they're the bird dogs. They go find the property off market and they bring it to their group of investors. And these investors decide, I'm going to buy it or not, right? And so it doesn't hit the MLS. Half of the properties last year that we bought was through wholesale divisions. Then there was about 20% we picked up while we were actually fixing up homes. The neighbors all came by to see what we were doing. So they sold to us, right? And then the other 30% we actually got on the MLS. Well, it's more MLS today.
So 3% on the MLS.
No, 30%.
Okay, that's a lot.
Right.
Like,
Now
really
that
didn't
was
start.
that was last year. Right now, more is on the MLS. They're on the MLS. You know, obviously we went through this phase of multiple offers. And in the last couple months, that's slowed down a bit. And so
Mhm.
just like any other market, sellers are pricing a little bit too high to begin with. I'm sure you've found that. And once that stays on the market for 3 to 5 weeks, which there's the opportunity. Finally, the folks get ready to resell. And that's when you got to pounce.
Now, so other than price, what else are you looking for to make sure that it's a good deal for you as an investment?
Well, I always like two exit strategies because I'm a lender for flippers and gap financing, or people that are that they want to buy a house to live in and they don't have the 30 days to close because of appraisers. And so the hard money comes in great there because you can close in 5 to 10 days and we don't need an appraisal. So what we're looking for, two strategies. One, can the property be fixed up and resold at a profit? The national profit average is probably right now about 42,000, but sometimes it doesn't matter if you're only going to make 15,000. I'll give you a quick example of what I've been doing in a sec. The second strategy is always have to have two exit strategies because we all get caught one day. Is how much can I rent that property for after I fix it up? And can I get all my money back? Can I get all my cash? Traditionally, investors put 20% down on a property and they got to wait to build up their cash arsenal to buy another investment property. Well, if I have lots of clients that right now the sweet spots are North Austin all the way to Temple, Waco, and then from Kyle to San Antonio. Example, they'll buy a property for, these are smaller properties, 150,000. They'll put 50,000 into rehab. That's 200 total. When they're done, the aftermarket value or rent ready is worth 3.25. So we refinance them into traditional Fannie Mae loans or no income investment, refinance 30-year fixed. They pay the hard money off and they get all their money back and they can start all over again. It's awesome, but those
Sounds
are
so
still
awesome.
Another quick investment is we've had trouble finding properties locally, so we've been buying a lot of duplexes and instantly turning around. I mean, 24 hours later, I can set up a condominium for a duplex in 24 hours, and we put them back on the market and sell each side separately.
Is this in Austin, or are you still
I
floating
just did
around the
one.
greater Austin?
I just did one. I just bought one 40 days ago, and no, 60 days ago, and it was a multiple bid. I overpaid, but I knew I could sell it. I thought I was going to have a big home run, but I'll take the gravy.
So
Literally,
you split the duplex up and sold them unit A, unit B separately to different buyers.
Instantly. Like this was a nice. I paid 825,000, and I put them on the market one at a time. Don't put both. And I've got them both under contract closing next week. Both of them for $499 a piece.
Oh, I wonder if my client's buying one of them. We'll have to talk later and see. That sounds
I love
familiar.
that. We've got we got another question for you. So Mark says, many new build developers have not been allowing investors. We've seen that a lot on the residential side. Has that been changing for the better or getting worse? And are they bad investments? So that's a two-part.
Say that again. There was a little breakup.
Are you seeing that new builds are allowing more investors these days? And also, would you consider that a good or bad investment? From Mark K.
I actually like new builds. Once you're doing these rehabs, it's sometimes takes a long time when you get caught up. So we do new builds also. And if I can find the right lot, I absolutely will do a new build. It takes.
Now,
I know. Yeah.
When you say the right lot, are you referring to the cost, like the lot premium, or is it the
Yeah.
layout of the lot?
It's both. Good question. It's the layout of the lot and the cost and location. So there's a house on it. There's trees on it. You've got to make sure you can handle the tree issues. Corner lots are premium. You do a duplex with 2 separate addresses on it. Attached duplex gets you the maximum square footage. And the prices obviously in the really higher areas last year were $550 a square foot. I mean, you guys know what they're going at now in
Yeah.
East Side.
There.
Some areas are crazy, right?
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, again, can a new investor do it if you've got the right team? You got to have the right team.
I have that question down here because we have to think about this new investors and how they get in, because that is probably the biggest hurdle is getting that. But it seems like you have these different resources to help people if they needed to get a hard money loan quickly. And
yeah, so my gap financing, we do more than just loan money. We're not the cheapest, but 90% of the time we're better than the rest. We make sure our clients don't screw up. If they bring us a deal from a wholesaler, and of course everybody wants to sell that deal, if it doesn't pencil, we're going to say so. And we're going to also guide them through risk management, asset protection. It takes us 5 minutes to scrub a lot or scrub a deal to see if it works. I don't suggest a brand new person does a new build unless they've got the team. They need the builder. They need the architect, and everybody's backlogged, right?
Yeah, it's going to take more time. And, you can't just pick an architect's name out of a bucket and think it's going to work out for you. You really have to vet these people, and that takes time too.
So I want to ask Jack, do you have like a set of rules, like a bullet point list, like a 10 commandments or something that you use when you're looking at investment property that you can share with people? Maybe a couple of those bullets?
When I look, are we talking about a rehab or straight purchase to rent?
Let's do a rehab.
Rehab.
Okay. On a rehab, I look for the total cost, right? The total cost factor, which is the cost of the house, the cost of rehab, and the carry. And then I look at what is the ARV. And the ARV for experienced investors should not be greater than 75%.
Can you let us know what ARV is for our listeners at home?
I'm sorry, I do that all the time. Yeah, that's your after repair value, or what you're going to be able to sell the property for after it's fixed up. So we do comps from day one when somebody is buying a rehab. We're going to do those comps of what it's going to look like with comparables based on what type of repairs it needs. So again, and when you get good at this, it takes 5 minutes to scrub a deal. Here's my purchase price, $200,000. My rehab budget doing X is 50. That's 250. You divide that by newbies. New people should do it by 0.7, 70%. If you divide by 0.7, that'll give you the ARV target you're looking for. That's a home run. 75% is still good, because when you refinance, you can refinance up to 80% of the appraised value without a waiting period. So we don't have to wait. Conventional loans allow that. So do some of the what we call debt service loan types that do not need income qualifying. All they're qualifying the property on is the appraisal, the rental factor, and the credit score. Higher the credit score, better.
Curious, have you seen the ARV expectations fluctuating? You've been sticking at 75.
It has. And so I'm seeing a lot of my clients and new clients that are referred to us. They're actually buying properties close to retail, and they're buying them from wholesale. And so
Mhm.
instead of getting a 20 to 30% sweat equity, they're happy, which is okay, because you got to remember they came from a world where they had to put 20% in the deal. If they
Mhm.
can end up with only 10% in the deal, and the fact that everybody's bidding on it to win the deal, that's a win right now for them. Because, at the end of the day, if you can, what is it? You're buying, you make your money when you buy it.
Yeah, it's an interesting perspective, because that's why people look at Austin and they're like, is it a win? But if you look at it from a certain angle like that, with the market continuing to go up, it works out, right?
It is. It is.
So I heard you say earlier that 500,000 was the sweet spot. Is that still the case today? So what is the sweet spot today? How much money are you looking to put down on a property to consider, having the resources for a solid investment?
Well, if you're buying rehab, you can actually put as little as 10% down, right? So in the rehab or hard money world, we loan up to 90% of the cost. And that the cost factor is what do you pay for it, and you add on the amount to repair it. That total will loan up to 90%, not to exceed 75% of the after repair value, the ARV. Okay. Sweet spots, again, it all depends on what you're doing. If you're building new, these lots are costing anywhere from, they used to cost 300,000 to 400,000, are costing in really nice areas 5, 6, 7, 800,000, right? So, I'm a junkie. My team will look at anything.
Mhm.
And I cannot believe how many people are buying in the surrounding area of Killeen and Temple. They're buying $75,000 houses. The rents are $1,100. They're putting
Yeah.
10 to 15,000 in the deal. Their returns are ridiculous, right?
Yeah.
And then,
And it's a military town, so you always have a recurring revenue stream right there.
yeah.
We've got a question here from Mark K again. What is the worst hidden issue to look out for on a rehab?
Well, if you're buying through a real estate agent, you're going to have time to look at these things. If you're buying at wholesale, you got to know right away. So the foundation, right? The old way to check the foundation is walk in with some marbles, open up the doors and the windows to see how that is, and also take an eye level. But foundation can bite you, the HVAC can bite you, the water heater can bite you, and the roof can bite you.
Those are the
Right?
big ticket items there. Yeah.
Yeah, if the foundation bites you, it's not expensive to fix. I mean, right now, 80% of the deals that we have purchased, and most rehabbers, they got to redo the foundation. What bites you there is if they have to redo it too much, and then you got bad pipes. That will knock you out of the park. So watch out for bad pipes and foundation.
Because the plumbing goes right through the slab, and when you adjust the slab back a couple of inches, if you think about a pipe going through a hole there, that's going to create some issues for sure.
That's it.
So if Mark, if I lost my marbles, I would just ride the one wheel and see if that balances. So the question then is, do you bring your team out? Do you have a guy that you bring out, or do you just have enough experience where you go out yourself and you can say, oh, it's going to do this, this, and that?
Once you've done as many as my team has, I have a project manager or a partner that runs that side, but I'm out there also. I mean, I can't pick colors for I'm colorblind, but everything else I can figure out.
What would you recommend for someone who's new to this?
If they're new, try to get yourself your contractor to go out. It's difficult, but you've got to get to a point of knowing when you walk in what it's going to cost. Once you do enough, you're going to know after 5 minutes. But if you're brand new, you've got to bring somebody in with you that knows what they're doing, and that's usually one of the rehab contractors. If you have time, the foundation inspections are free, right? Most of them. So you bring somebody out. It depends on how old it is, and you all know. And if anybody's working with real estate agents, they know the areas that you've had the most difficulty with foundation.
True.
Yes.
There's patterns.
Yeah. Right.
And not every foundation issue is created equally. Like Jack said, like some homes are, the slab has cracked through the middle, and it's almost, if you're going to have issues for the life of the home, it's going to be a constant battle. And then any buyer who comes in can look at those measurements before the repair, after, and where it is now, and say, hey, I don't want to deal with this. So you just have to think about that long-term resale value too.
That's it. That's it. That's the main one.
Yeah, if you're going to net 100,000 and your foundation costs 20. All
That's
right.
an investment right there. So Jack, it sounds like you're gravitating towards north a little bit, Temple Clean.
San Antonio too. I moved my son out from California. He's in San Antonio and he's got 3 going. San Antonio's a hot spot. I just do a lot of lending in that northern side.
Now, why would you say that is? Is it price point?
Yeah. Listen, you can buy out there 85 to 110 a square foot. I mean, it's got to go.
Sounds like a win to me.
In 3 years ago in Round Rock, you could still get that.
Exactly. Temple, Helene, Copperas Cove.
It's a plural.
I mean, it's $75 a square foot. If you can get that tight and rehabbed, it's only going to go up. I mean, the cost of materials is.
I was curious about that. Do you when you go further out? I fear those appreciation waves are less dramatic. Do you think a little further north, a little further south may actually go down or flatten?
Well, the appreciation is the location, right? Location, but that seems to be the area. But if you're getting, you remember the old rule of thumb for investments, if you could get a 1% rent factor, right,
yes,
off of your purchase price, that's great. Well, you can get that and higher out in those areas. So your return on investment is going to come back. So, it's a longer term hold.
Yeah. So that's your other gauge. You could see that calculation and that still works out on that end.
Correct. And so
go
ahead.
Do you recommend self-managing your properties?
Your first one, but when you're doing your math, especially if it's out of your area, you got to figure it out with a property manager. You have to. And if you're going to, I've got a lot of clients, they live in New York, California, out of state, and they're doing super and they use property manager. They have to, right? They just have to. So the old saying is the first one you want to learn, but be ready to turn it over to a property manager because you got better things to do than answer the phone. And that's also when you lease out to a tenant, that's also something you want to think about is that tenant going to leave you alone? Will they change their own light bulb? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Now, are you seeing more people gravitate toward multifamily, single-family residential, or condos?
For investments, it's 1 to 4 units. Once you get over 4 units, it's a chicken duck. 5-unit multifamily is tough financing. So your resale factor is tougher. Fannie Freddie doesn't do it. And unless your 5-unit plus is $1 million loan, your buyers will always have more difficulty and pay higher rates. Is that right, Jay?
Yes, absolutely. So we got about 5 minutes left. By the way, thanks, Mark. I don't know if you could see this, Jack, but Mark just dropped us some tip money there.
Nice.
He just bought us some beer and he bought me a bag of marbles.
Thanks, Mark. We'll grab some drinks sometime.
We will. I need some margaritas. It's getting hot out there, guys. Any contractor, I feel bad for them right now if they're out there sweating in a lot.
Hey, that's the sweat equity there. So it sounds like investors are winning in Austin, but there's also a lot more opportunity on the outskirts. Is that what I'm
Yes.
hearing from your perspective?
That's what I'm seeing. Because
Yeah, because we always hear, am I too late to invest in Austin? But I think what it is you're too late if your price point is 300,000.
That's
Right?
true. If
In
you're
Austin proper.
correct, you're going to be up there, but the rents are higher now, so it's all relative. It's just more competition out there, right?
Are you bullish on values like in the next year or so? You expect a downturn and then it'll come back up, or what do you think?
I expect this softening, in the next 12 to 18 months. I do. I mean, this is the longest real estate boom that,
What
I'm a
goes
little
up?
older than y'all, but I've been through 3 cycles and this is the longest, right? But Austin has, in the last 26, 28 years, has handled it very well.
Yeah, it's very different.
There are some spots that I think are a little bit up there, but just
Central spots or
So-
suburban spots.
central.
How do you
Yeah.
how do you feel that's going to work now that we've got all these large corporations, Silicon Valley type corporations relocating here? Tesla, Boring Company, Apple, Samsung investing so heavily in this area.
Well, that's where you're seeing places like nobody's paying attention to Lockhart, Bastrop. Well, Bastrop now people are paying attention. We were all lucky enough to get in the Tesla area 12 months ago.
Yeah.
The
Maynard.
I mean, the Maynards and there's some outskirts of Round Rock and Hutto. So we don't have enough product, right? We don't have enough product, and that's why the builders are. That's another thing that happened. You realize that 4 months ago, all the builders stopped at pouring concrete. They just stopped because the wood prices were so high. Well, they got together and said, stop that nonsense. We're not going to put sticks up, and the wood prices came down.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of gouging. I mean, right now it's taking us 8 to 12 weeks to get windows. So
All right, so
I've seen
Sanjeev has a question.
builders
Yeah.
grab windows from the house that's being built next door. That isn't and seriously, I've watched them grab it and put it over in the other house. I was like, nice. Wow, we're closing first anyway, so that's great.
All right, Sanjeev has a question. Is Jack bullish on rents? Do we see rents coming up to level with home values?
Rents they're still going up. I mean, I think there's a lot of outlier areas that the rents are, I can't believe how low they are. So
I think the rents, I think it'll catch up. I think there's a little bit more people moving, just staying here, and they're just paying. It's not like investor prices so much.
Yeah, I think we're starting to hit right where what we're gonna start seeing a rent parity, just because you have all these people that had to rush to get here for school and for work, and they ended up renting because they couldn't buy anything. And now that inventory is kind of easing up a little bit, they still, they're locked into a lease agreement. So we got another one. Nobody want to read this one?
Alonzo, what's up? What does anyone think about container home communities? And after this, we'll go ahead and close it out because that's our time. But I think if whatever they allow to build, I think that's where it starts. If they allow any type of inventory like that, I think it'll take off. I just don't know if they're allowing it.
Have you ever dealt with container home communities, either of you?
I've seen a few, and I think they're really cool. It's just, you got to go on the outskirts. You can't do it in Austin.
Yeah. I've heard some rumors of Dripping Springs, some communities kind of close to Johnson City. So we'll see if those do come up, because of course, if they're going to be cheaper than single family homes,
right?
some people are going to be jumping in, but maybe they won't be.
Options are good.
I think there'll be less than single family homes, but you're paying less for a much smaller product. It's like those mini cans of Coke. Remember they came out with those? And so a regular Coke, let's say it was 50 cents a can. These were like 45 cents a can, but they were less than half the size. It's like, what?
I think so.
So you're paying a price premium. That's how I feel about it. So,
all right, closing thoughts, everybody.
Well, my takeaways and my homework, I am going to be keeping my eye on those price reduction properties on the MLS, for my clients, because I think Jack hit it on the nose when he said, keep an eye out for those. Sellers have overpriced, and I'm seeing more reductions now than this whole year. So I will be patient and just keep my eyes on the ground.
Yeah, I would say I'm keeping my eyes out for new build communities that are allowing investors to purchase. I still have a lot of investors kind of on the sidelines waiting with bated breath. So I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, I'm walking away with the perception on greater Austin area is actually a little bit bigger. You know, I hear more conversations about Temple, Killeen, Coppers Cove, Kyle Buda. Definitely hear people talking about San Antonio. So it's just Austin has been growing. You can't look back anymore. This is just a growing town, and that's something to consider when you're looking at Austin investments or the greater Austin area, because there's a price point for entry level too.
Chip and Joanna Gaines up in Waco, we're about to give you a run for your money because Austin realtors are headed your way.
They're starting a new show again too. So Jack, I just want to say thank you so much for investing your time in helping educate everybody in the area. This has been invaluable. Thank you.
All right. Well, if somebody wants to get a hold of me, it's jack@usam.net, or phone number is 512-617-9400. 512-617-9400. There's still
Jack
good
is
deals
awesome.
out there.
Y'all right there.
Oh, nice. Thank you.
Appreciate you, Jack.
All right, guys. Thanks for inviting me. Have a good weekend.
Thanks again.
And go buy